Welcome to part 39 of our series, Secrets of Glessner House. In this installment, we will explore the servants' hall, part of our multi-part examination of the rooms within the kitchen wing of the house. The servants' hall, shown with a blue star, is located immediately west of the kitchen and has a large window facing 18th Street, which runs along the bottom of this plan. You might wonder why the hall is the only room on the first floor that faces north. The answer is found in a letter from John Glessner to the architect during the design phase of the house. He was concerned about possible smells emanating from the windows of the stable, shown at upper right. The pantry, located above the servants' hall in the plan, faces south to capture the sunlight, the idea being that if there were smells from the stable, they would be less objectionable in the pantry than in the servants' hall. Here we see the entrance door to the servants' hall, located immediately to the right of the range. This made the room very convenient for the cook, who would often be preparing multiple items of food for both the family and the servants that would require frequent checking. Additionally, the proximity of the hall to the range meant that this would be a warm and cozy space even on the coldest days of the year. This is the original floor plan for the servants' hall, as prepared in the office of the architect, Henry Hobson Richardson. The room measures 12 by 14 feet, with a section cut out at lower left around the exterior stairs. It contains just under 150 square feet of space. John Glessner later noted that he wished the adjacent pantry had been made smaller, so that the servants' hall could have been larger. There was a second window in the room that faced the exterior stairs. For unknown reasons, that window was removed and the opening sealed up, probably in the 1960s. But originally, it would have been very useful, as the staff would have easily been able to look out from the hall to see who was arriving at the servants' entrance. This would have included tradesmen, deliverymen, and guests of the staff. The servants' hall was finished as most kitchens would have been at the time, with a wood floor, wainscoting, and painted plaster walls. It is a reminder of how modern the Glessner kitchen itself was, with its encaustic tile floor and glazed brick walls. The wainscoting extended up 3.5 feet from the floor, with a decorative cap at the top. Wainscoting was frequently used in rooms such as this, as it helped to protect the walls in spaces that saw heavy use. The painted soapstone finish seen above is the same as can be found on the ceilings in the other rooms of the kitchen wing and the walls of the butler's pantry. There was an opening from the dry pantry into the servants' hall. This was seen at the end of our previous video about the pantry. You can find the link in the description below. The pass-through was located at the far right-hand side of a wall of built-in cabinets and shelving for storing food and kitchen equipment. It had a very specific function for the servants. There was a deep counter in front of the pass-through, known as a table in the era before the term counter was used. This area was used to plate up the meals for the servants, eliminating the need for a prep area in the hall itself. If you would like to learn more about what the servants ate, see the March 2023 installment of Cooking with Mattie on our website. A link is included in the description below. The dishes would have been simple, heavy earthenware, very different from those used by the family. John Glessner once noted eating off of the servants' dishes, after the family dishes had been packed up in anticipation of the delivery of new dishes. He wrote how unusual it was to eat off of dishes of this type, and son George even commented that it was odd eating off plates with nicks in them. This shows the other side of the pass-through in the servants' hall. The door could be opened from this side with a latch, and the plates and other items would simply be passed through and placed on the dining table. In 1981, the servants' hall was renovated and turned into a modern kitchen, hence the modern countertop, electric stove, and microwave seen in the foreground. There are no surviving historic images of the servants' hall at Glessner House. However, we can get a sense of what the room would have felt like by looking at a few surviving examples in other houses. This image shows the servants' hall at the early 19th century Ickworth House, a property of the National Trust located in Suffolk, England. It is a reminder that the room would have served as both dining room and sitting room, where the staff could spend their leisure time together. In larger homes, such as the Biltmore Estate in Asheville, North Carolina, the functions would be separated into 2 rooms, with one reserved just for dining purposes, as seen on the left. Note how cozy the sitting room feels with its rocking chairs facing the fireplace. We do have a glimpse of what our servants' hall would have looked like, thanks to the valuable record shown here. This is taken from the inventory of the estate following the death of John Glessner in January 1936. The listing for the maid's dining room, as it was referred to here, gives us a detailed inventory of the furniture in the room. Note that the total value of everything was just $7.25. This included 5 mismatched chairs and an oak-framed wall mirror, an important item for staff to be able to check their appearance before being seen by the family and guests. Let's explore what the servants' hall furniture might have looked like. The most important piece of furniture in the room would have been the large pine drop-leaf table, measuring 48 by 54 inches. 7 servants would have sat around the table, or more when extra help was brought in for large entertainments. The coachman, who was married, had a separate kitchen in his quarters, and his wife would have prepared and served the meals for their family there. The table in the servants' hall would have also functioned as a work table for the preparation of foods, in the days before built-in countertops became common. The large oak sideboard, measuring 90 inches in length, would have been used to hold servants' dishes, linens, as well as aprons and supplies for repairing and cleaning uniforms. As the room also functioned as a sitting room, it is likely that things like books, needlework, and supplies for other leisure time activities would have been kept here. The inventory specifically lists 2 rockers in the shaker style. This is a reference to a distinctive style of furniture developed in the U.S. by the United Society of Believers in Christ's Second Appearing, traditionally known as the Shakers. Their guiding principles were simplicity, utility, and honesty, so perfectly appropriate for furniture in a servant's area. The room would have also featured a small oak drop-front desk. Staff would have used the desk to write letters back home. The cook would have used the desk for preparing menus and shopping lists and maintaining account books with the various food purveyors. The butler might have used the desk as well, although he most likely had a desk in his room for handling household accounts and other items. The inventory notes there was a bronze lamp with a glass shade. The lamp would have been important as the original plans for the room only showed 2 wall sconces with single bulbs. One was located next to the pass-through, as seen here. The other was located to the right of the large window facing 18th Street. Although the staff would spend their leisure time in the room, they would have still been on call. The annunciator, or servant's call box, shown here, was mounted on the wall in the adjacent kitchen. Household instructions noted that, when the family was at home in the evening, someone had to remain in the servants' hall until 10 p.m. to answer any calls that would come in on the annunciator. On rare occasion, the Glessner family would have used the servants' hall for eating meals. Francis Glessner noted an impromptu lunch with a guest in the room in 1890, when they stopped home after preparing funeral flowers at nearby First Presbyterian Church. On another occasion in 1893, the dining room had been cleared and reset for an evening reading of Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream to 109 guests. For that occasion, the entire Glessner family had their dinner in the servants' hall. The servants would, of course, dine at a different time from the family, so their meal would not have been interrupted by this arrangement. We hope you have enjoyed learning more about the history and appearance of the servants' hall and how it functioned as the center of their life in the house for the live-in staff. Tune in next time when another secret will be revealed.